California, we have a history of being more progressive, and we fix the problems that we have by inventing new things and improving our quality of life. As of now, 300,000 lives are being lost per decade as a result of car accidents. We have the power to save those lives through the development and manufacturing of autonomous cars. California has recently begun to consider these regulations after a public hearing on April 25th, 2017, to approve these self-driving cars. These cars have the power to not only eliminate drunk driving deaths, but they have so many more far-reaching benefits that I will talk about later that greatly outweigh the risks of manufacturing and putting these cars on our roadways. So a little over 100 years ago, the Wright brothers were met by a common phrase that if God wanted man to fly, he would have given him wings. And this was a theory that flight was too risky and therefore it should not be permitted. This is a similar argument that is being used against the manufacturing and development of autonomous cars. People who believe that driverless cars are too dangerous for our society are using this argument to scare lawmakers away from the progress and benefit that these cars have to our society. These cars have the ability to help disabled people, infirm elderly people, or others who don't have the ability to drive. So they will give them a new sense of independence and they can make their own plans. Autonomous self-driving vehicles should be approved for manufacturing and testing in California by passing the regulation Driverless Testing and Deployment Regulations of California in 38750 of the Vehicle Code. This also relies on Section 1651 of the Department of Motor Vehicle Regulations. So first, I will talk about the benefits of these cars, and then I'll tell you why some people might disagree with me. And then I will also show you my plan to get these cars tested and the regulations passed. So the problem that we have now is that lives are being lost. So these cars have the ability to save 300,000 lives per decade. They can reduce expenses, and there will be a new sense of independence for people who are not able to drive. So first, a fully autonomous car is one that has no steering wheel or pedals. This comes from an article titled "California is Officially Embracing the Self-Driving Car." So, some history about these cars in California. On December 16, 2015, the DMV released a draft deployment regulation for review. And then on September 30th, this was revised. And then on April 25th, 2017, the proposed regulations for testing and deployment public comment period ended, which was a big step in the development of these cars. So the first benefit of these cars is that they will save lives. Deaths due to texting and technology, and also teen deaths as a result of human error or reckless behavior will decrease. The seatbelt rules in these cars will be greatly enhanced. For example, the cars could not start if seatbelts were not buckled. And according to the 2015 Atlantic article by Adrienne LaFrance, the self-driving cars will save 300,000 lives per decade. This claim is also backed up by a 2015 article written in the Science Alert that estimates that 29,447 lives per year will be saved, and this is 90% of all traffic fatalities. Another thing that these cars can help is road rage, as I'm sure most of us have probably experienced while driving. These cars will eliminate human error, so as a result, there will be nothing to rage about on the road. The second benefit of these cars is that they will save us a lot of money. Car insurance rates will decrease because there will be less car accidents, and insurance rates for families will also decrease because there will be no need for the high insurance rates for teen drivers. An article titled "Numbers Don't Lie" by Alex Davies says that these cars will boost California's economies. As you can see by this graph, the more cars that are produced, the more people will buy them, and it opens up a whole new market for California. The Atlantic article that I mentioned before says that by 2050, these cars will save us as much as $190 billion a year for health costs that are associated with accidents. And a 2017 article titled "Congress Begins Work on Self-Driving Cars" says that with the new technology that's improving, the new innovative ways that are created will there are new innovative ways that expand the existing fully autonomous cars. So as a result of this, the prices of all the parts of the cars will decrease, and then the autonomous cars as a whole will be cheaper and more readily available for the public to buy. So my final reason why these cars are beneficial is because they will help people who are not able to drive. Teen drivers, for an example, as most of us know, have many activities, and sometimes it's hard for parents to drive their kids or find the time to drive their kids to all of these activities. So these cars can allow them to get to everywhere they need to be. They can also help elderly people who are not able to drive themselves to places. Elderly people who need to be more mobile to get to doctor's appointments without the need of nurses or other family members can benefit from these as well. People who are under the influence of any substance-related substances, such as alcohol or prescription drugs, or cancer patients who need a lot of medication, they can get to where they need to be without worrying about causing accidents. Google is one of the first companies to start testing this new technology, and they have a subsidiary called Waymo. This tested a driverless car with a blind man as a passenger, and this man, the blind man, believes that these cars are finally ready and safe to be used in public. He says that this car has given him a greater sense of independence. So now that I've told you about the benefits, I'll show you why some people might disagree with me. Some people might think that technology is not advanced enough to be safe for these cars to be safe in public, but Google is a prime example why it is safe. The blind man and also Google's tests. An article titled "Grabbing the Wheel Early" by Chasa Lee in the Federal Communications Law Journal says that Google has secretly been testing these cars in public in San Francisco, in the suburbs of San Francisco, and they have logged over 140,000 miles. So this shows that these cars have already been proven to be safe for the public. So now that I've told you some opposing views and why they're flawed, I'll show you what you can do. So these regulations should be approved so that these autonomous driverless cars can be tested, and the sooner this happens, the sooner lives will be saved. Testing autonomous cars will also allow the public to see that autonomous cars will not be present. So when these regulations come about, we have to vote for them and make sure that they can pass. So today I've told you about the benefits of driverless cars and why the autonomous car regulations should be passed, why some people might see these cars as dangerous or harmful to society, and why we can test these cars to put those concerns to rest, and also what you can do to support the production of these cars for testing purposes. We all want to make the world a better and safer place, and having driverless cars is a major stepping stone to having a safer world. We have the power to save 300,000 lives per decade by passing this driverless car